Good morning, class. I hope you're doing great today. This is Professor Maloney, and today I'm creating my third video so far for this CGS 1060-2225-1416 class, which is an A-term, 6-week mini-term session of Introduction to Computers and Applications at the Miami-Dade College Homestead campus. This class is being taught utilizing the MDC Live modality, which I talked about and explained in my class overview recording. So if you have questions on what MDC Live is, refer to that particular recording. You can also refer to the class syllabus, which I also reviewed in my class overview syllabus, overview session. I also had a MindTap overview session to sort of tell you how to register at the MindTap site, and the fact that you need to purchase your access code for the MindTap site by the second class day, which means by Thursday, May 12th, or I will have to drop you because you already have an exam on the third class day, which is Tuesday, May the 17th, and then basically every 7 to 9 days for the next 6 weeks, you have an exam. So there's 5 exams in this 6-week class. All right. So today, what am I doing? I'm demonstrating how to do MindTap training tasks. For Windows 10, there's only 21 tasks. This is your opportunity to start the class very well, because there's also an exam based on these 21 tasks. All right. And this is not a multiple choice class. It's not a true false class in terms of exams. It's not a fill in the blank. It's not a short answer. Everything you do exam wise is the same as you do training wise, where you're given a scenario. You're working in what we call a virtual machine, and the virtual machine is utilizing Windows 10. So regardless of what operating system your computer is using, whether it be a Mac, whether it be a Chromebook, or whether it be a Windows computer, when you're at the MindTap site, you're utilizing the way the class was set up, which was for the class offerings that we're basically teaching. Windows 10, then Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Access, and Microsoft PowerPoint. All right, so today I'm going to go on over and show you again. So to learn more about MindTap, watch the MindTap video, which again is also a recording, and all the recordings are found in the course recordings by Professor Maloney folder location in MindTap. All right, okay, so let's get over and do it. This video probably will not take more than 26 or so minutes. All right, I'm going to share my screen, hide that, and go over here to our class in Blackboard, and now go over to, so here's where I have my required class sessions, also the optional class sessions, these required live Collaborate Ultra sessions. I talked about these in the class overview session as well, so you can go back to that video if you have questions on them. This one here is just a session I have to create anytime I'm doing a recording. I have to create a session for it. I make these sessions outside of class hours. I don't do any sessions live. I make them in advance. And the reason I don't do live sessions is because I have to quote unquote get your permission, and I will not get permission from students to do something that's going to help them. So I do these outside of our required sessions, and you can of course watch them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but you still must attend my required live classes. All right, anyway, so student start here is where you go to get to MindTap. You must do this by the second day of class, and again, refer to my MindTap overview video for instructions on how to do this. Since I'm your professor, when I click it, I come straight to class, to your class in MindTap. When you guys click it after you register, then you would come straight over here. And this is your class in MindTap, which is where 98% of your classwork is done. All right. Today I'm demonstrating in the operating systems, okay, the Windows 10 training, and letting you know the Windows 10 exam is based on this training. Anything you see at MindTap that has an orange filled in bubble, that means it is graded, okay? There are 17 graded training tasks, 1 for Windows 10, 4 more in Word, 4 more in Excel, 4 more in Access, and finally 4 more in PowerPoint. So 4 fours for down here is 16, and this one is 17. There are also 5 exams, Windows 10, followed by an exam in Word, followed by an exam in Excel, followed by an exam in Access, finally followed by an exam in PowerPoint. Okay? All right, so watch my MindTap overview video, read the course syllabus. At the end of the course syllabus, there's a tentative schedule of activities, which shows when these tasks and exams are and when, how long you have to do them. But it's a 6-week class, so you know everything is done fast. All right, so I'm going to click on the training, okay? You will be able to click on the training when it's available, which is at 12 a.m. on Thursday, May the 12th. Okay, and I may make it available even earlier than that. But anyway, you click the start button, and then you're in what we call a pop-up window. All right, this pop-up window is utilizing Windows 10. So if I was using a Mac right now, and so the background of my computer, not this pop-up, but the computer part behind the scenes here, if you will, is in my case Windows 11. But if you're using a Mac or you're using a Chromebook, it doesn't matter what you're using. If you're using a Linux operating system, it doesn't matter. When you run from our Blackboard class and you click this link here, once you get here, and then that means you're here, and then you click on Windows 10 training and you click the start button as I did, then here you are. You're in it and it opens in a pop-up. This is the pop-up, okay? So this pop-up now has tasks. There are 21 tasks. It says task 1 of 21. Your exam is going to be based, your first exam, 1 out of 5, is based on these 21 tasks, just to let you know how fast and difficult the class will get. So the first exam is based on 21 tasks. The second exam is Microsoft Word, and it's only a week after the Windows 10 exam, and that one's based on 126 tasks, which is exactly 6 times the number of tasks you have for Windows 10, okay? But the Word exam will have somewhere between 25 to 35 tasks, but you have to prepare for it by doing 126 tasks, and I suggest that you do them 3, 4, 5, or 6 times each, okay? Then after Word, Excel has 130, I believe it's 5 tasks, so even more than Word. And again, the exam for Excel, I think it's 9 days after the Word exam, but still it's the next week. And in that case, you have, again, 25, 30, or 35 tasks that will be on the exam, but to prepare for it, you have to do 135 or so tasks. Then the Access module starts, and in Access, there's 143 tasks. 143. That's literally just a hair less than 7 times the number of tasks as Windows 10. And Access is the most difficult subject in this class, of course, and the second most difficult is the one I just mentioned, Excel. So Access now 143 tasks. Again, the exam will have 25, 30, 35, something like that. But to prepare for it, you need to go through 143 tasks. Remember the 17 training sessions. And then finally, PowerPoint. While PowerPoint is perhaps the second easiest part of this exam, of this class, but in terms of tasks, it goes up yet again. Now it's 155 or 156 tasks. So that's like 7.5 times the number of tasks as in Windows 10. All right? Okay, now also, when you're in training, which is where I am right now, there's always 3 modes: observe, practice, and apply. You must do apply, so I make it the default. In other words, anytime you click on a task, you're going to have this blue background color under apply, meaning that you're doing it in the apply mode by default. But if you don't know how to do it, and here's the instruction. In this case, just shut down Windows 10. Remember I said your exams are not based on true, false. They're not based on multiple choice. They're not based on fill in the answer. They're not based on short answer. They're based on you doing on the computer within the confines of this pop-up window what they're asking. So to shut down Windows 10, and you have an infinite number of chances to do it in training. In other words, there's no reason not to get 100 on every training. Plus, in training, you're allowed to ask me. Any task you can't do, ask your professor and I'll be happy to help you. Of course, that means you have to ask during class when I'm not talking and when I'm not playing videos, meaning videos to demonstrate what you have to do for that particular module, or in the office hour session, which goes from 10:30 until 11:30, but only if you're there. I'll only be there until 10:45 if nobody's there asking me any questions. Okay. But anyway, so and if you don't know how to do it, though, let's say you say I have no idea how to do this, and I don't even want to click around to try. Well, you can go to Observe, and in Observe there's going to be another video. So it's similar to the video I'm doing here, but this is just a very cut and dry 40-second video to display how to shut down Windows 10, specific for this task, in other words. And there would be 20 other tasks, all with an observe mode, all with a practice mode, but in each case you have to do the apply mode and it'll always be the default mode. Okay, so observe gives you a video and the narrator does everything for you. She explains what you're doing and she moves the mouse and does it for you. Practice mode is similar to observe. It's the very same video, very same audio, okay? So it's 40 seconds or so. But the only difference is when she says, click here to do something, she won't do the click. You have to move your mouse and click where she tells you to click, okay? And after you do the observe or the practice, then you get a chance. Do you want to do, let's say you're doing the observe and you think you got it. Then it'll say, after the 40 seconds or so is up, do you want to do the practice mode now or do you want to do the apply mode? If you still don't get it enough, you can say, I want to do the practice mode. After the practice mode is complete, it'll say, do you want to do the observe mode or do you want to do the apply mode? Okay, but at some point you have to do the apply mode. And the apply mode is easy and it's the one I suggest you do every time, okay? Because most of them you can do, right? Now, the only difference, by the way, between training on these and an exam on these is that, like I said, in training, you can literally do these things 1,000 times if you want. And it can take you 1,000. It can take you 10,000 times to get it right. If you got, literally 24 hours a day, 60 minutes an hour, 60 seconds a minute to do it 1,000,000 times. But bottom line is you must do the apply mode, okay? And on the exam, though, you get 2 tries. 2 tries, that's it. So if you misclick and like click right here, oops, I didn't mean to do that. It was an accident. Well, sorry, but you click. That's why you go through the trainings to understand how it works. So now I've had 1 try. It's training though, so I can get it wrong again. I'll click the File Explorer. Oops, who cares? I got it wrong twice. I can click over here. I can click over here. I can click on, let's say, the volume button. Oh, it lets me do this. But if I click and change the volume, it'll then say wrong. Because it's when you do something. Like you can open up a file. You can open up anything. Like I can open the recycle bin. That's not going to be wrong. Or try to. It's not letting me open it. But it's when you do something afterwards, okay, that it would be wrong. Like let's say up here as an example on another one, it's showing me the clock. See, it's not letting me do anything in the clock. So I'll go over to notifications. So now in the notifications, it's letting me see in, but it's if I click again, then it'll mark it wrong, okay, because you don't shut down Windows 10 from the notifications area, okay? So how do you do it? Obviously, you come over here to the Start menu, and then you click on your power button, and they're saying shut down. So you don't put it to sleep. If you do, it'll be wrong again, right? So you come over, again, power button. And so you don't put it to sleep. You don't restart. You say, it says shut down. So you click shut down. And of course, it's right, right? So then it goes to the next one. So your test is easy, but it's only easy if you do it and you understand it and you're patient. In this one here, task 2 of 21. And by the way, if I didn't say, I'm going to demonstrate doing 8 of these 21 tasks. In Word, I'll demonstrate 8 from each of the 4 modules. So I'll be demonstrating 32. But in Word, I believe there's 126 tasks. So I'm going to demonstrate 32 of 126. So that's more or less 1/4 of them. Okay. So you obviously have a lot more to do. but you always need to do the apply, and it takes some time. And then in Excel, I'll demonstrate another 32, in Access another 32, and in PowerPoint another 32 under separate videos. Okay, so in other words, there's going to be 5 training videos. So you have a class overview video, you have a MindTap overview video, now you have a Windows 10 training demonstration video, then you're going to have a Word training demonstration video, and also a Word project demonstration video where I'll do 1/2 of one project. Okay, you have to do 3 projects for Word in this class, another 3 projects for Excel, another 3 for PowerPoint. And I do not help you with projects. Projects are based on the trainings, and they're called individual assignments, independent assignments. So you must do them on your own, which means you have to do your training and you have to do it well enough. You also should make sure that you download, as I put in the overview video, if you download, I don't want to get out of here. Actually, I will. I want to go ahead and go over. If you download, where am I? If you go to your library page from Blackboard, okay, and on the right side of your screen, right here, you're going to see Office 365 Student Advantage. You click it and you download Office 365 to your Mac, that's fine. To your Windows computer, that's fine. To your Unix computer, that's fine. To any Linux computer, that's fine. To the Chromebook, it's pretty well impossible. Google doesn't want you to touch anything that's not Google. But anyway, you should have this one if you expect to do good in the class on your projects. Okay. All right. Getting back to that where I am here and here. Okay. So this one, sign into Windows 10 as user 1. So right now we're on user 2. So you can see there's at least 2 different things here. First, we have to get to user 1 or we're going to get the answer wrong. But I'll get the answer wrong, of course, on purpose. I'll leave user 2 up, but I'll type sign into Windows 10 as user 1. I won't do that. I'm still on user 2, but I will type the password correct. And you notice it's Windows in lowercase. So I'll spell Windows. I'll click and type Windows in lowercase. If you're not sure of what you typed, click the I over here to the right. I got Windows D. Well, that's obviously not right. So get rid of the last character. Click the I again. Yeah, Windows, lowercase, yep, so I got it right. No, I didn't get it right. Right? Why? Because I didn't do, so there's 2 steps. And in many of the tasks, especially in Word, Excel, Access, and PowerPoint, you can have 3 or 4 tasks on a given subject to get it right, but also in Windows 10 to an extent. All right, so first thing I got to do is click user 1. All right, now I'm in user 1. So now I've done that right. But now I'll spell Windows 10 with a capital W. So Windows with a capital W is not the same as Windows with a lowercase w. So it's going to be wrong. I'm on the right user, yes, but I'm getting it wrong. And by the way, if this was a test, this would be this, let's say this is my second try. If I miss it, which I'm going to, then it would be wrong. Okay, and it would go to the next question. Okay. All right. So now I know it was the problem with the first letter, but I'll just go ahead and do Windows. And again, look at it to make sure. Now it's Windows in lowercase, and I'm on user 1, so it will be correct. Yay, I did it. Okay. All right. Now here, start the alarms and clocks. Oops. Start the alarms and clocks app, or alarms and clock app, from the start menu apps list. So in Windows, this is the start menu. Okay, this thing right here. All right. So start menu is there. Now they're saying start the alarms and clock app. Well, here it is right here, alarms and clock. Now, the way these things work is normally they have a most used section. And that's for like user convenience, because in this case, they're pretending that Access and Excel and PowerPoint and Word and Outlook and Microsoft Edge, all Microsoft products, are the most widely used. And that's fine, perfectly fine. But if you don't see your app here, then they have a number list, meaning ones that begin with a number, okay? And they're under this # group. Well, there's only one that begins with a number, and that's the 3D builder. Then they go sequentially from A through Z, okay? So you look for whichever one you're looking for. In this case, it's alarms and clocks, so it's obviously going to be under A. So you go back up to A, and you click alarms and clock, okay? All right. Now here, start Word 2019 using the start menu. So again, you need to understand this is the start menu in Word, in Windows, okay? So start menu is that button right there, the bottom left side of this pop-up. Okay, and if you want, by the way, you can make the pop-up window larger. It's just then it might confuse you in terms of their startup for the virtual machine versus your startup, which is, in my case, this one down here. All these things here are open on my computer, okay? But this is the taskbar right here for our virtual machine. So I want it smaller, but you don't have to do it, just to make it easier to see where I'm at. Okay, anyway, start Word 2019 using the Start menu. Again, let's pretend it's the exam, and I click, let's say I click on this task view, which is this one right here, okay? So I got one try wrong, so I get exactly one more try to get it right. You can say to me, Professor, that was an accident, and I would say, yeah, I'm sure it was an accident. Yeah, I'm sure, but you get 2 tries. So if you have one accident, you better get it right the second time, okay? Because we don't erase tries, okay? And you get 1 try on the exam, but 2 tries on each task, okay? Anyway, so they're telling you, use the Start menu. So click your Start menu. Then they're saying, start Word 2019. Well, here's Word under what they're calling the most used. And then, of course, if you go through the A through Z list, you're going to find Word under the W. So it doesn't matter which you use, okay? This is Word. In this case, it's Word 2019, but you don't need to worry about that. You would start whatever it is. It's in this virtual machine. So I can click that one, or I can click the one under the most used, and I'll just click this one. But either of those would get it right, okay? So that is 4. Now I'm on task 5. And if you want to go and look at any of your tasks, by the way, let's say all of these were easy for you, except maybe sign into Windows, and you want to play it again, then you just come back over here and you can click it from here, and it brings you exactly back to it, okay? But because you've already gotten credit for it, you see the check marks, then if you get it wrong this time, it's still marked as correct. In other words, when you get something correct, you can repeat it if you want to 1,000 more times. And I strongly suggest, again, that you do them 3, 4, 5, or 6 times, because you want to make sure on the exam you know what you're doing. And I suggest you also write down notes, but you don't write down notes on every darn task, because that would, make it impossible for you to find the trees for the forest. In other words, if you write down 1,000 notes, it's harder to find something related to task 12, right, on the test, when you've got so many notes. So write down notes, there's nothing wrong with that, but only on things that you really, really need notes for, okay? All right, anyway, back over here to switch apps. So task number 5, all right? All right, so switch to Excel to display the open workbook. All right, so they want me to go into Excel now. Now, you see that this is a Word document. Obviously, it's a Word document right here, okay? You can sort of look at, this is called the taskbar. And if you hover on the W, you know W stands for Word, I hope. But so this is the Word document, and you can kind of see that there's a blue and orangey color at the top of this document. And then you can kind of see that there's maybe a date and like an address area and a document. So this is obviously the document we're on, right? So this is it. So they're saying switch to Excel to display the open workbook. Anything you have open in Windows 10 is on the taskbar. So if you click on the, not click on, but hover by this X, that's an Excel file. And if you just hover and look just immediately above it, but without clicking, because if you click, it's a try, even though this would be the right try. But it tells you it's Excel, okay? And it's .xlsx. If I go away, you see it says Excel, right? When I'm not hovering on it, you see it says Excel, okay? So anyway, they want us to display the open workbook, which is this, right? So that's done. But you can play around and see if you can do things and then do whatever. Now they're saying display the desktop without minimizing or closing any windows. So they want me on the desktop. Well, right here, you see we're on this PC, we're in the documents folder. So the documents is not the desktop. This is the desktop right here. We're in documents, and they're saying though, they don't want me to minimize or close any windows. Okay, so for this one, it's basically over here on the right of the taskbar, but I'm going to let you now see how the observe and practice modes work. So here's observe mode. Let's pretend I honestly don't know what this is. By the way, let me make this one bigger again, okay? So if you make it big, 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 then you want to go way over here to way over here, way over there, okay? But anyway, let's go ahead and do this one under observe.
For instant access to the desktop without having to close or minimize open windows, use the Show Desktop button.
So she
In the
tells you
notification area of the taskbar, click the Show Desktop button.
that's this thing way on the right, right? I just
Windows
didn't get there in
minimizes
time.
the open windows and displays the desktop.
Okay. So not even 40 seconds, but perhaps it was. And then again, so remember there's 3 modes: observe, practice, apply. Apply is always the default mode, but if you then do the observe mode, then because you did observe, they're saying observe complete, but select another mode. If you know, one way or another, you have to do apply, okay? So if I do practice, it won't count. And by the way, the observe doesn't count against you, neither does doing practice. But on the exam, of course, you won't have observe and practice, right? You get 2 tries on the exam for each task, 1 try for the exam itself, but you do not get it observe and you do not get it practice. That's what your training is all about, okay? Let's do it with practice just to show you the difference.
For instant access to the desktop without having to close or minimize open windows, use the Show Desktop button.
Okay.
In the notification area of the taskbar, click the Show Desktop button.
Remember I told you it was way over here on the far right side of the taskbar. It's really in the notifications area, but on the far right of this black bar area, this red vertical line right here is what I have to click on. And there, she won't go and do it this time. In this case, when you're doing the practice mode, you have to do it. So you go over to it and you just click it. Okay?
Windows minimizes the open windows and displays the desktop.
Okay. So now it's done and it says, well, that's practice. Do you want to go back and do observe again? Or do you want to do apply? Well, we have to do apply, otherwise we don't get credit for it. So we're going to do it via apply. Okay. So we come over here on the far right side and just click. Okay. Didn't like my click. Click again. It's now done. All right. All right. I said I would do 8. So there's 1 more to do. Resize the settings window so that it covers the right side of the desktop. Okay. So this is the settings area right here. They want it to cover the right side of the desktop. I'm going to try to bang it, what I call bang it to the right. It didn't like the bang it. This would work in the real world, so it didn't do it. So now I'll just kind of, let's see here, resize the settings window so that it covers the right side of the desktop. Well, this is obviously the right side of the desktop. Now, I don't know if they want me to manually make it cover the whole right side. No, see, they're saying task incorrect now because I didn't get it right on the second thing. Like you can move things, like I told you before, you can click on something, but if you then click on something within something, then that's when it would count as wrong. So for this one, I'm just going to do the practice. I honestly, I mean, I've played with Windows 1,000 times, but I do it the way I do it, which is you just slide that open window to the right, and it would automatically take up half the screen on the right. But that's not what they want.
Resize a window to view a larger or smaller portion of the content. You can use this method to make room to view multiple windows at the same time. Point to the right border of the settings window. The pointer becomes a 2-headed arrow. Press and hold the left mouse button and drag to the right to make the window larger, and then release the mouse button.
Okay, so this is a much more cumbersome, meaning much more complicated way to do it than what I do. Again, I just click on it and drag it to the right. But you have to do it the way you're told in the trainings, because the exam is based on the trainings. So saying you see this red line, you won't see this red line in the test, but you need to get to go to where you see a two arrows, horizontal line, a horizontal line with 2 arrows, a left arrow and a right arrow. When you get it, click with your left mouse button and just drag to the right and release.
The window covers the right side of the desktop.
I I'm not sure about that, but anyway, so you do what you're told to do, right? And based on your trainings. So over here, we're going to do the same thing. Take it and just drag it to the right and release. All right. All right. So this is now number 8. So resize the start menu. So, and I don't like to be in that mode just so I can see it easier. And maybe because I was in a big mode, it made it look like it was less obvious. Resize the start menu so that it is wider. Resize the start menu so that it is wider. Well, here's the start menu. Let's see if there's a right click option. And let's see. Mobility center, power options, event, system, device, network, disk management, computer management, Windows Power Shell, task manager, settings. Maybe settings? Nope. Okay, resize the start menu so that it is wider. Okay, so I'll just let them tell us again. And again, you don't know if I'm playing or not, but I like to have fun with you guys, and I will always like to have fun. But I'll be demonstrating lots and lots and lots of tasks throughout this thing. So let's just go ahead though again. So remember, observe, you're going to get 2 different things. She does it all. Practice, she shows you the same video, but video/audio, but you have to do the work, and then you must still do apply. So let's just click the observe and go.
Resize the start menu to make more of your tiles visible without scrolling. Click the start button.
Because it's observe, I don't need to do it. She's going to do it.
The start menu opens. Drag the right edge of the start menu to the right.
So the same thing we did with the making a file go to the right side. Okay, so again, you resize the start menu. So she went into the start menu. Here's where it is right now. She wants it wider or larger. And if you're over on the right side, you see again that 2-headed arrow or line with 2 arrows, left and right arrows, and then just drag it to the right. In that case, I let go and it didn't like, because I guess I didn't make it wide enough. So let's, okay. So you saw that? You drag until it does what it needs to do. When I released it the first time, I'm going to show you this in practice just to show you what I have to do, and I'll purposefully do it wrong
The
again.
Tips app
So
can
watch.
provide you with helpful
sorry.
information on commonly searched topics.
I want to go back to 8, I said, because I want you to understand how, things that could be tricky are. So in here,
Resize the start menu
same
to
thing.
make more of your tiles visible without scrolling.
So she's going to want me to click here.
Click. The
Now,
start menu opens.
watch this though.
Drag the right edge of the start menu to the right.
Now it says drag it to the right. It doesn't say anything about when you release. And that's why you need to think and then make sure that you understand where it's going to be. So like if I just drag it, let's just say an inch, that's about an inch right there, release it, it's saying incorrect, right? But I did drag it to the right. So you might say, well, you did it right, but you got it wrong. So then the second time I clicked it and I dragged until I'm still dragging, but at some point it's going to just take it. I'm still dragging, still dragging, still dragging, still dragging, still dragging, still dragging. And now, because they wanted it all to show, okay? It doesn't say in the instructions here, but I think she did orally say if you want to see all the tiles. So now you can see I'm showing all the tiles. So if I release it now, it's okay, right? So that's, again, just make sure you understand and what you have to do, right? So like if I scroll this thing down, let's see if I can scroll this one down as well. No, that one's not. Move this up. So even though I wanted to see the horizontal scroll bar, which I can't see from this view, well, let me make it bigger. Okay, so you see this is a vertical scroll bar. When you can see something, it's called a scroll bar, this area above it. I'm on the bottom of it right there, the bottom of it. And then when I click and drag it up, I'm now at the top of it. But there's a horizontal scroll bar too, but you can't see it. But what the point is that you have more tiles and they want them to show. So you got to click until they all show. Now they're all showing. Then I can release. Okay. All right. Anyway, that was purposefully, well, it was longer than I wanted it to be, but that's 8 tasks. And I shall now end the training. So I'll go ahead and X out of that. Okay. And I shall now end our recording and have a great